So this is a brief overview in preparing a 3D model from SketchUp, getting it ready to 3D print or CNC to prepare an STL, make sure the STL is watertight. So what we do, first thing off is we're going to check the model's not got any extras that we don't want there. These could be extra internal lines, external lines, and hidden lines. We're going to check the scale, and then we're going to export it as an STL, and then make sure it's double checked. Okay, so first off, what we need to do, just looking at these objects, you can see there's some extra geometry going on. There's a smart extension that you can download. I think it's called Tom plugins. It's the Cleanup 3 tool, and it'll pop in under extensions here. I don't have it on this version. I'm just going to freestyle it with the eraser tool. But that tool will clean up the majority of your lines, but you still have to double check once you've cleaned them up. So in this instance, I'm going to clean up here, clean up that, which is the eraser tool, just hitting the erase. I'm going to go like that. Okay, so we've cleaned it up. It looks pretty good. I'm just going to flick it over to X-ray. Now I've set up a keyboard shortcut for X-rays, but I think it's View, Face Style, Shift X is my shortcut. Oh, look at this! We've got some geometry on the inside. So we've got to delete that. Now there's a couple of different ways of deleting that. We can just select it in X-ray mode like that and hit delete. There we go. Or you could have taken a face off, hidden a face, deleted a face, or reinstated it. There's different ways of doing it. So next thing we have to do is to check for. I'd normally turn on hidden geometry, and that'll display hidden geometry. And we've got this construction line here. Now, if you guys are using the warehouse, 3D warehouse, to import models, it's always a good practice to import it into a separate file. Check the hidden lines, check the scale of everything, delete all the unnecessary gubbins that often comes with it, and then bring it into your model, clean it up first. Quite often, the majority of problems with 3D printing I've seen are from people using the warehouse, and also rendering engines as well. If you use the warehouse and you don't analyze the file correctly or thoroughly enough, and you allow construction lines to come in, it can screw up the scale of your model. So sometimes the construction line is like kind of infinitely long, and your computer can't tell what object is, where this ends, etc., and it plays its brain a little bit. So what we need to do is we need to select these extras, delete them, and that's pretty much it in terms of the cleanup of the geometry. What we need to do next is we need to check what we call the normals of an object, what direction the faces are pointing. Now, if you go to Face Style and then go to Monochrome, what we need is all our object to be white. It all needs to be white on the outside. If it just that's the simplest way of explaining it. There's some kind of complex kind of underpinning theory behind what we call normals, which you can look into, of course. There'll be loads of videos on what a normal is. But what the basics we need to just understand is that white is good, blue is bad. So we just need to select all the blue faces, right click, and make those reverse faces so that they're all nice and tight. So that's great. We got those looking great. Next thing we need to do is to scale our objects. So we select our objects and we're going to scale using. We can check the size of the box there. So it's 160 centimeters, that isn't it? So and then 850 mil high. So this is currently too big for my 3D printer. It's currently life size, if you would. As is this guy here. We need to get rid of this guy as well. It says just delete this guy. So I'm just going to move this across to 0, 0. It's a good idea moving it to the origin, so that then when you're importing it into your printer, sometimes if your model is over here, it may bring in the area of your print may be this big because it takes into account the 0. So it's always a good idea to move that to there. It's normally the programs nowadays are pretty good at figuring that out, but just to make sure it's nice and clean. There's no extras in the file that we don't need. So okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to scale it down to make it select everything. I'm going to go to S for scale tool. I'm just going to pull it down. I'm going to pull it down just a nominal amount, and then just type in 0.1 for, that would make it 10% of the previous size at a scale of 1 to 10. If you wanted it at a scale of 1 to 100, you type in 0.01, that would be 1 to 100. I'm just going to go for 1 to 10. We can hit zoom extents, have a quick look at this, and just double check the size, tape measure. So 43 mil by 85, and that'll comfortably fit into my printer. Okay, so the next stage we need to do is to export this as an STL. So within the extension warehouse, I think it's like one of the top extensions is the Sketchup STL. So you download that extension. The other extension you need to possibly have a look at doing is the cleanup one. This one, Cleanup by TomTom. So download that one as well and have a play with those. And they should really well, this one definitely should shortcut the cleanup procedure. I don't know if there is one. I haven't found one yet to convert all the exterior faces to white. So that's possibly in development somewhere. So the Sketchup STL file will pop in this Export STL tab here. So we just export STL. Select the geometry. We're going to do everything because that's all that there is in this model. We've done zoom extents and checked that there's nothing hidden in the background. File format ASC2 is fine. Is it ASCII? ASCII. So model units, millimeters. We already know it's in millimeters, but just put that. Make sure. Export that to file. I'm just going to put it. Yeah, there. Export the model to print. Export. Hit save. And that should have saved that. Now, that's the first step done. We should have our. Let's have a look. So we've got our file here. It's saved as an STL. What I always like to do with our files is check them on a web-based piece of software called NetFab. So if you Google NetFab Microsoft, it will come up with this link. You need to sign in, and hopefully this will sign in. Yeah, I'm already signed in. Once you're signed in, you can then upload your file. Let's upload that. And what it'll do, it'll upload it, it'll check it for any errors, repair it, and then give you the opportunity to download it. Let's just download it back into file. If I've fixed, hit save. Okay, and let's check our file size. So it's actually gone up in file size. Sometimes they go down. Now, the key thing is just to run it through that process. This is a very good program for ironing out any little kind of split hairs, if you would. If there's two lines that are just very close together, it will sort them out. If there's any little gaps in your geometry, this will sort them out. Very, very good piece of software. I recommend you using this, running through this. That about concludes my quick overview. If you have any comments, please feel free to get in touch, and I'll see if I can answer them. I hope you do well with it. Have fun.